Hello everyone, it is Sewtech Jeff, also known as BERNINA Jeff at High Fashion Sewing Machines. I am going to show how to make a grocery sack, a fabric grocery bag, or any sort of shopping bag out of 24 inches of fabric, self-handles, and try to get it done in 10 minutes. So I've got some of it pre-done, but you're going to take 24 inches of fabric, keep it folded like you would get it from the store, then cut 5 inches from off of one edge of it. So you're going to take 5 inches. This is going to be your handle, and you're going to fold it in half and iron it to give yourself a middle fold line. Then you're going to fold the 2 edges to the middle. So what we're doing is we're making a handle with 4 layers of fabric. So we're going to sew that real quick, and I'm going to use a BERNINA machine, and I'm going to use a 10D foot because a 10D has a little fin on it. And we are going to move our needle position over to 3 spots to the left, and that little blade or whatever, that fin, is going to ride right next to our fabric and give us a perfect edge distance on this stitch. I've already done half of it, so you're not having to watch me sew all of this up. And I'm going to use my cutter. Now, if it were me, I'm going to, for the sake of the video timing, I would flip this over and do the other side too. It'll give your handle a little more body. And then I took a 9mm fancy stitch and stitched right down the middle of this. So I took a stitch that might be a spool of thread looking thing, and you can just kind of do a decorative stitch down the middle. I didn't do that on this one. So it's going to have 2 handles, so I'm going to fold it in half, find my middle, and hopefully the scissors has enough power to it. There we go. So there's 2 handles. We're going to set those aside. We'll put those on later. Now we're going to take our remaining fabric. So we had 24 inches minus 5, so we're about 19 inches of fabric across like that. So you're going to take and you're going to cut out a 4-inch square at each corner at the bottom. So this is the folded part of it. This is the salvage part. So it's 4 inches and 4 inches. So when you open it up, it's going to have an 8-inch bottom basically. So by cutting 2 layers at a time, you're getting just the right size. Now before we start sewing the seams, we're going to do the top edge. So I've already done one top edge already. I'm going to use the same 10 foot. You can iron this, you can pin it, you can use the clips. So I'm using the 10 foot, and I'm going to need to change my needle position to +3 on this one. And when this starts sewing, I'm using that fin, that blade, just on the edge of that salvage to give myself a nice straight line to go with. And this is what your 7 series should sound like. If it doesn't sound like this, it needs oil. Kind of sounds like a rickety train track. It needs oil. So if you wanted more body at the top, you could fold this down a couple times so when it stands, it stays open. I'm just doing this for this sake. All right, now we can put our handles on now, which makes it more sense. So I'm going to find the middle. All right, I'm going to put, where'd my wonder clips? There they are. That's my middle. Now take your handle and you just, depending upon how long you want, and I'm just eyeballing them here, an equal distance from the center. And there we go. Little wonder clip there. Now I am going to change. I don't need the 10D foot anymore. I'm going to change to the 1D foot to sew this handle on. If you have a D foot, always engage that back side part. Now, most of the time I like to sew from the face or the front of my fabric, but I am going to sew from the back side so I can see the fabric I'm sewing on. Now, I'm still on a straight stitch. If I hit clear, it'll put it back to the center. I am going to choose my 1D foot. You thought I was going to forget that, didn't you? And there we go. Now, I could do real close to this edge. That could have a little raveling, and I'm going to show you how we're going to avoid raveling on the sides. So I'm just going to kind of sew pretty close to that. Now, I want another stitch. All right. I've got a hover feature on that's kind of bugging me. I don't have to have that feature on. So I'm just sewing, and I'm just going to make a box. Now this has beer bottles on it. You know, if I'm going to go to the liquor store, I may want to have more reinforcement on the handles. Haha. All right, so that's one set of handles. I'm only going to do one set because I can do this when it's sewn together too, for the sake of the video. Where did I do this side here? Now this one's longer. I'm gonna make the squares look more equal. So it's all a matter of how OCD you are, how fancy you want to get, but you can have a really nice looking bag, any theme you want, depending upon the fabrics you have. All right, so I would repeat it with the other side. So now I'm going to put right sides together. So put the print sides together, and we're going to match our cutout here, this cutout corner. We're going to match that all the way up. We're going to sew from the bottom to the top. Make sure it's pretty much the same length. And I am just going to use roughly 5/8 of an inch. That's, whoops. What you have to watch out for when you're using a D foot is you got to grab hold of your threads, hold them to the left, and make sure you start on fabric, because what happens if you don't, you get jammed up. See this jam here? So I would have gotten the gears if I wouldn't have known what was going on there. So important, hold your threads on any sewing machine. Now let's lower that. Now I'm going to reverse now. All right, I think I did okay, unless I broke the thread. No, we're good. All right. Oops. Oops. I didn't have the bottom lined up. So let's just... line that up. This is where pins and clips really come in handy. All right. Again, you don't ever want to start too close to the edge of your fabric. And almost done with this side. And we're going to do the same for the other side. But the way you're going to make the bottom be a boxed bottom is you don't sew this way. You open it up kind of like a fish mouth. So you're going to open it up this way, line up those corners, and sew across to make a T. Get a Mr. T out of it. And I'm going to sew this. And I'm going to show you how we're going to overcast these edges so they don't ravel when you wash it. Now, to overcast an edge, a lot of machines come with a 2A foot, and if you don't, it's a great foot to invest in because it makes your sewing machine basically a serger. So you put in the number 3 stitch, select the 2A. It should suggest it there for you first thing. So I have the 2A foot, I'm going to stick that on. Everything's preset. I may want the stitch, I'm going to hit clear again. I want it tighter. There we go. Instead of long, I want it tight. Okay. So my idea is to keep the raw edge of my fabric right to the outside edge of that foot. There's a small little pin on the bottom of that foot that's holding my stitches to the edge of the fabric. And this is going to help keep it from raveling. Come on, cut it. There, just wasn't pushing it at the right time. And you always pull it to the back side because that pin. I'm going to finish this side here too, because since my edges weren't even, that's overcasting that edge that wasn't even. So you would do that on all your raw edges on the inside before you turn it right side out. So let's do this other side real fast. Let's go down this way. And I love that you don't need a tool, screwdriver, anything to change the Bernina foot. We're ready to go for a new one. And let's tell it we got the 1D foot on. All right, we're good to go. Now, probably would have been smart to start from the top down on both sides. But we get smarter as we go, right? So, trying to get this done in a hurry. Hopefully the people at the liquor store aren't going to criticize this sewing job. So here in Colorado, we just got the no plastic single-use bag law passed, and it came into effect January 1st. So everybody's scrambling for grocery sacks, grocery bags and stuff. So that's why I wanted to do this video right away. All right, so again, I'm making a T. I'm going to line that up, do that stitch across there, and I'm going to turn it right side out and see what we got. We're going to sew that. There's nothing keeping you, if you do have a serger, that you could, after it's stitched, you could serge this up. Let's see what we got. All right. Let's get those corners poked out. So we have an 8-inch bottom. You get your milk bottle, the milk cartons and everything in there. Now, there's our bag. There's our handle. So that's going to hold a pretty good amount of groceries and stuff. If it were me, I kind of like a little body on the fabric. You could do an iron-on interfacing to the inside of that to give it some body. You could make this out of a twill or a heavier fabric or upholstery fabric. So go check your stash, see if there's something. You only need 24 inches. And if this is too tall for you, you can trim a little off there before you start making it. So this has been BERNINA Jeff, how to make a grocery or a shopping bag, and quick, easy pattern with a boxed bottom. Thank you very much. Check my descriptions down below for my Shopify and all my other little communications. Thanks.